In a small village, nestled between endless fields and deep pine forests, lived a little girl named Lena. She was just 10 years old, curious and kind. She loved running barefoot through the grass, collecting pine cones in a basket, and listening to the birds sing in the evenings. One day, as she was walking home along a quiet forest path, she heard a soft, desperate whimper. She stopped and listened. The sound was coming from behind a fallen tree. Carefully, she pushed aside some branches, and there, curled up and trembling, was a tiny puppy. He was dirty, soaking wet, and his paw was scraped and bleeding. His eyes were wide, full of fear, like someone who had lost everything. Without hesitation, Lena took off her scarf, wrapped the puppy in it, and carried him home. Her parents were surprised, but seeing the poor creature shivering in her arms, they simply sighed and said, "Well, looks like we've got a dog now." He grew quickly. From a scruffy little pup, he became a strong, smart dog with soft fur and warm, watchful eyes. Max followed Lena everywhere. He waited for her outside the school gates every day, played with her in the fields, and curled up at the foot of her bed each night, guarding her dreams. Max understood things. When Lena was sad, he would quietly lay beside her, his head gently resting on her lap. When she was happy, he barked joyfully and jumped in circles, like he was laughing with her. Years passed, seasons changed, and then came winter. The village turned white, wrapped in snow like a blanket. The ponds froze, the rooftops glittered with frost, and Lena loved nothing more than to ride her sled down the big hill at the edge of the forest. One day, she went out alone, dragging her sled behind her. Max was in the yard, distracted by a bone, and didn't notice she'd left. But not long after, the sky darkened, the wind picked up, and a fierce snowstorm rolled in. Max suddenly lifted his head. His ears twitched. Something was wrong. He sniffed the air, barked loudly, and began to pace. Then, without hesitation, he leapt over the fence and raced toward the woods. Lena, meanwhile, had lost her way. The snow was thick, the trees had vanished behind a curtain of white, and the wind roared like a living thing. She tried calling for help, but her voice was swallowed by the storm. And then, a sound. Barking. Strong, familiar, full of life. Max. He ran up, licking her face, nudging her, digging away the snow with his paws. Then he lay down beside her, pressing his warm body close to hers, keeping her awake, keeping her alive. Nearly an hour later, a rescue team saw his paw prints. Following the trail, they reached the girl just in time. Her hands were freezing, her lips blue, but she was alive, thanks to Max. The story of Max spread quickly. The village newspaper ran a front-page story. Someone gave him a brand new collar and a basket of treats. He even got a little medal. But Max didn't care about any of that. He only cared that Lena was safe, that she was smiling again. And then, one spring morning, when the sun was just starting to warm the earth and birds were singing softly, Lena woke up and went to him. But Max didn't wake up. He had passed away quietly in his sleep, in peace, in the home where he was loved more than anything. Later that day, she planted a young apple tree outside her window in Max's memory. The villagers wanted to honor him, too. Near the school, they built a statue, a bronze dog sitting calmly, ears perked up, watching the world with gentle eyes. On the plaque, they wrote, "Max, the dog who saved a life and stayed in our hearts forever." And sometimes, when the wind is quiet and the world is still, Lena walks past the statue. She closes her eyes and swears she can still hear Max barking in the distance, full of life, just like before. Because some friends never really leave us.